Do you remember when Champion of Justice took Area 52 by storm after this video? You could find entire battlegrounds filled with COJ players. It was admittedly a problem. On May 26th, COJ heals were reduced by 30% in PvP. This prompted a beautiful suggestion for a rework by Misery on that same day. But the suggestion fell on deaf ears, and on July 15th, COJ's self-healing was reduced by another 50%, pushing the build further into irrelevance. The Tauren Paladin was down, but not out. Our version of COJ was now just a wannabe Consecrated Strikes build, with comparatively bad damage. So it was time to embrace the change. Welcome back, everyone. Before we jump into the core abilities, I wanted to make sure that everyone knew how to access the build. To get started, press N, navigate to the Hero Architect tab, go to the Leveling Builds, and search for MilkTheBull's Consecrated Strikes. Since it's not a featured build, you'll have to supply your own Mystic Enchants, but that's not as bad as it sounds. The build only calls for 2 Worldforged enchants, meaning everything else can be purchased on the auction house or traded. The 2 Worldforged enchants are Exorcist Slash and Primal Divine Storm. Exorcist Slash can be purchased from the Shady Dealer at Light's Hope Chapel in the Eastern Plaguelands for 100 gold. And until you can get it for yourself, Faithful Flex is a good substitute. Primal Divine Storm is unlocked by farming beasts that are naturally above level 25. To get something called Primal Mystic Scroll. Like other blue Worldforged enchants, when you use it, it'll unlock a random Primal enchant based on the abilities that you know. Northern Stranglethorn Vale is a great place to start. The other classes of mobs all have their own version of that same mechanic for future reference. With that out of the way, let's dive into our core abilities. Seal of Command is a passive effect in the heart of your build. Every auto attack and paladin melee ability has a chance to trigger it, dealing extra holy damage to your main target and up to 2 additional enemies. This synergizes with almost every ability in your toolkit, adding a consistent layer of holy damage to your attacks. Judgment of Justice is a mid-range ability that prevents the target from moving past normal run speed, and that includes if they're on a mount, using sprint, or even shape-shifting into a ghost wolf. I like to pair it with Demon Leap and Charge to effectively catch mounted players and keep them from getting away. Divine Storm is your big AoE nuke. Each target you hit also triggers Seal of Command, and you have a chance of proccing Consecrated Weapon, which also triggers Seal of Command. Crusader Strike is your primary filler ability. It deals solid damage and is almost always available for use. It also benefits from Seal of Command and Consecrated Weapon, just like Divine Storm. The stat priority I would give this build is Strength, 4% hit rating, Crit, and Spell Power. You don't have to worry too much about hit rating while you're leveling and in PvP. Typically, you'll have more than enough without even trying. Long story short, though, if you find yourself missing, throw some hit rating gear on. As for heirlooms, the Valor set's the way to go. And when it comes to weapons, the axe wins, with the polearm being a close second. But you mostly just want to find the slowest, hardest hitting weapon possible. For that reason, I cannot recommend the heirloom mace. Once you're level 60, so long as you're going to be prestiging, it's definitely worthwhile to invest into some 60 epics. If you're going to be saving up for tier gear for level 60, the Ret Paladin tier 3 set is ideal. And yes, even though the tooltips are hidden, the tier bonuses are very much still active. Might of Menethil is the best two-handed mace and by far my personal preference. I'll start by saying enchants are not required. If you like to be on the bleeding edge, however, from levels 1 to 29 I use Fiery Weapon. Crusader has a minimum level of 30 here, placing it at the same required level for Twisted Crusader. If you have the gold to justify it, Twisted Crusader is the easy choice to go after 30. That being said, the vanilla version is more than fine otherwise. Hey guys, If you've made it this far, I just want to thank you for watching. The Ret Pally playstyle is definitely the one that I'm the most passionate about, and I had a lot of fun making this video. I learned a few new editing tricks too. And since you've made it this far, if you're genuinely a new player on Ascension and you need copies of the Mystic Enchants for this build, just send me a message or a letter in game, and as long as I have the resources to spare, I'll give them to you 100% for free. I'd also like to know what you guys thought of this style of video compared to the normal montages. What did you think of the history and the opening cinematic? Keep on being awesome, everyone, and have a great 2025.